Sustainable development is not just about the environment, its focus is much broader than that. It is about meeting the diverse needs of people in different communities, social cohesion, creating equal opportunities to ensure a strong and healthy society. In complex, sustainable development can be the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development also focuses on finding better ways of doing things without affecting the quality of our life. A practical example of sustainability involves the BRT system that was introduced in South Africa, whereby people travel from one point to another using a bus, which helps to reduce the gas emissions since a bus is certified to carry a certain number of passengers, unlike those passengers each driving their own car. Another example include using green materials in new constructions, just like the Hallmark building in Maboning, as well as incorporating the green space to counterbalance the green space removed to build an on-site facility.
There are 5 critical components of sustainable development. People. Sustainable development is all about people. Fostering inclusions to end poverty and hunger in all forms while ensuring dignity and equality will uplift the living standards of all people in this planet. Prosperity. The world struggles with a slowing economy and rising inequality. Progress on decent work has been slower than expected, with reductions in unemployment not matched with improvements in the quality of work. Ensuring prosperous and fulfilling lives in harmony will nurture through supporting growth, jobs, and poverty reduction. Peace. There will not be sustainable development without peace. Conflict does not only threaten human rights, but also our development goals. Corruption undermines the ability of countries to deliver inclusive and sustainable economic growth. Reduced violence and zero conflict with well-defined good code of conduct will bring further peace. Partnership. Inclusive partnership is a key to a successful development agenda. Solid global partnership will strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize goals for sustainable development. Planet. People are exploring natural resources instead of protecting them. Engaging in climate action is the best way to protect our planet's natural resources for future generations. The SDGs set a goal to protect the planet so it can support the needs of the present and future generations. These components underpin all the 17 SDGs and are applicable in all the countries.
There are 3 pillars of sustainable development, namely economic, environmental, and social pillar. Number 1, economic sustainability preserves the economic, social, and human resources needed for the revenue and quality of living. Number 2, environmental sustainability aims at maintaining the environmental quality required to carry out economic activities and human well-being. And social sustainability is aimed at ensuring freedom and equality, preserving cultural identity, appreciation for diversity, race, and religion. These are the 3 pillars of sustainability.
We cannot talk about sustainable development without including sustainable development goals. Therefore, a brief history of these goals will be outlined. The Sustainable Development Goals were born at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. The objective was to produce a set of universal goals that meet the urgent environmental, political, and economic challenges facing our world. The SDGs replaced the Millennium Development Goals, which started a global effort in 2000 to tackle the indigeneity of poverty. Therefore, these goals are expected to be achieved by the year 2030.
Why is it important to promote sustainable development and sustainable development goals? The 17 Sustainable Development Goals are an urgent call to shift the world onto a more sustainable path, tackling some of the more pressing challenges facing the world today. The impact of these goals will assist the world to transition to a new sustainable governance that recognizes the roles and responsibilities of the local and the subnational governance. When looking at Sustainable Development Goal number 3, which is good health and well-being. The health of people is affected by poor housing, sanitation, access to food, health and medical facilities, as well as the air quality and the availability of green spaces. However, these situations differ in both urban and rural areas. Therefore, promoting SDG number 3 will oversee and control pollution such as soil quality, air, noise, and waste, as well as water. Secondly, SDG number 3 will promote recreational facilities such as parks, sports fields, stadiums, swimming pools, and camping grounds. It will also support healthy forms of urban and rural mobility, such as walking, cycling, reliable, accessible, and safe public transit.
When it comes to SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation. Poor sanitation combined with irregular water supply hinders development and claims the lives of countless of people, especially those living in informal settlements. These challenges are likely to magnify in the future due to the ever-growing city population needing to share already inadequate and often badly managed resources. Therefore, promoting SDG number 6 will ensure that water resources are accessible and shared fairly. Supplied water is clean since life on earth and life below water depends on clean water for survival. Example, if one was to drink contaminated water, that person is likely to face health complications and contact diseases like cholera. Last but not least, SDG number 1, no poverty. Poverty remains one of the core issues and it is worsened by inefficient, unequal land use and housing markets, lack of access to basic services and existing socio-economic traps in both urban and rural areas. Promoting the sustainable development and SDG number 1 will boost inclusive education to enhance employment, enhance a system of equal opportunities by providing information on how to recover from disasters and escape poverty traps, providing ways that will help to reduce poverty. Conquering poverty will help to reduce hunger since people will be able to provide food for their families and themselves.
There are several threats and challenges encountered when attaining the Sustainable Development Goals. Number 1, slower economic growth. Unemployment is an example for slow economic growth. Reducing poverty can only be achieved by jobs that are stable and well-paying. However, the number of people who joined the unemployment queue in the fourth quarter increased by 701,000, bringing the number of unemployed people in South Africa to 7.2 million. In addition, the creation of decent jobs will help to change the condition of people living in South Africa.
Challenge number 2, corruption. Corruption delays sustainable development. Corruption in the Free State Human Settlements Department has left coffers 500 million lighter and a trail of half-built RDP houses and unfinished projects that were meant to benefit the poor. Challenge number 3, inequality. For example, Alexander and Sandton. Alexander, being located near Sandton, has done little contribution in terms of community development. The township has not translated into improved livelihoods prospects for its residents as compared to Sandton.
Challenge number 4, political meddling. Capacity building is important to the success of the Sustainable Development Goals, and its goal is to provide the long-term foundation for transformation. It requires training and education in systems approach to solutions, transdisciplinary initiatives, and co-design. Political meddling is affecting the entire system because people who lack skills and knowledge are being employed. Political power is being used instead of the level of education.
The Cape Town City Council, together with non-profit organizations, developed the Kuyasa Low-Income Housing Energy Upgrade Project to retrofit low-income houses with efficient lighting, insulated ceilings, and also solar water heaters.
In Tshwane, approximately 27.9% of the population lives in poverty. Since 2008, the local government have been developing an integrated poverty reduction and community development strategies. Based on community-driven approaches, over 10 programs of poverty alleviations have been delivered in the city, targeting housing facilities, grant in aid, and support for the orphans. Some of the examples of sustainable development programs in South Africa includes one of the South African banks, which is Nedbank.
The Nedbank funds economic and social development initiatives in rural and suburban areas to drive sustainable development and the green economy.